I am recorded right now. Good.
All right, good afternoon. My name is Splendorio, and I'm the chair of the Alameda County LAFCo, and I will now call the meeting to order, the special meeting to order. And today's meeting is held via Zoom and a teleconference. No, there's no physical location for this meeting. Commissioners will be able to join via Zoom or by telephone, and members of the public may also call in or Zoom into the meeting. All meeting participants are asked to please mute yourself unless speaking, and I will call on commissioners and the public to speak at the appropriate time. All commission actions will be taken by roll call vote. I ask that the commissioners identify themselves when making a motion or a second. We encourage public comment by email as noted on the agenda, and I will ask for verbal public comment after each agenda item. If you wish to make a verbal comment, please make your comment at the appropriate time, and please identify yourself by name. Public comments will be limited to 3 minutes. All right, April, could you please call the roll?
Yes. Chair Splendorio.
Here.
Commissioner Miley.
Do you hear me?
No, I didn't. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Commissioner Miley. Commissioner Hubbard.
Here.
Commissioner Hernandez.
Here.
Commissioner Warner.
Here.
Commissioner Johnson.
Here.
Commissioner Wieskamp.
Here.
Alternate Commissioner Brown.
Here.
Alternate Commissioner Von Heater Leopold.
Here.
Thank you. Alternate Commissioner Marchand.
Here.
Let the record reflect, roll call has been taken and we do have a quorum.
Thank you very much, April. And at this point, and this is a very sad moment for many of us, and I'm going to ask that we take a moment to reflect about Wilma Chan, who was an incredible county supervisor. She was an assembly person. She had a long, storied history and resume as a public servant, but she served on our commission for 10 years. And for literally over 30 years, she provided incredible public service. I mean, she was such an advocate for the common person, for the maladies of the folks that we may not see, and especially with healthcare and homelessness and the like. So what I ask for at this point, just a moment of reflection, and then I'd like to call on a few folks if they want to give any thoughts about the passing of Wilma Chan. All right, thank you for that. Thank you very much. I'd like to ask Commissioner Miley if he might start off, if he has any words that he would like to provide about Wilma.
Yes, thank you, Splen, for placing this on the agenda. It's always difficult to speak about this because it was shocking what happened. We saw Wilma at a board meeting. We had a 10-hour board meeting on that Tuesday, and then that next day, Wednesday, get information that she'd been killed by a motorist. And even now, it hasn't been 3 weeks since her passing. And we keep thinking that expect to see her, and other than being in a state of shock, it's like being in denial that she's actually gone. So it's very, very, very difficult. I've worked with Wilma, knew her for about 40 years. Knew Wilma when she wanted to get on the school board in Oakland. I've known her since those days. And as everyone has pointed out, Wilma was very courageous, forthright, extremely knowledgeable in certain subject areas, very compassionate and driven in certain subject areas as well. And her skill set on the Board of Supervisors is going to definitely be missed because, as a county supervisor, we're kind of jacks of all trade, aces at none, but some of us do know a lot about certain areas of policy and programming than other areas. And so you kind of rely on, like with Wilma, you rely on her for her healthcare experience and knowledge as an example. And you could just rely on Wilma to carry the torch and provide the guidance in that arena. And not having her around as to serve on the Alliance board or to work with the Alameda Health Systems, push the agenda for child care. She pushed the agenda for the human impact aspects of our budget. There's just certain things that she was extremely knowledgeable of and passionate about. It's going to be sorely missed. And I know I was excited when Wilma decided that she wanted to come back to the Board of Supervisors, because as many of you know, she left the Board of Supervisors and went to the State Assembly and then came back to the county after serving in the State Assembly. And I was very excited to have her come to the county because she would bring all that combined skill set and knowledge and talent to the Board of Supervisors. And it was great having her there with us. So we're going to miss her. And I really feel this void, but I also feel a lot of sadness for her family, her son, her daughter, grandkids, her staff. It's clearly, her passing is extremely untimely. And some of you know, I worked on pedestrian safety when I was in the Oakland City Council. I pushed the agendas that address pedestrian safety, and I've continued to be a strong proponent of pedestrian safety to this day. And pedestrian incidences, because we don't call them incidents, because they're incidences, they are avoidable. We still don't know all the circumstances around what happened with Supervisor Chan being hit. We don't know if the motorist distracted or blinded by the sunlight because it happened like at 8 in the morning. Speeding, we don't know anything at the moment in terms of the situation around it, but it's just totally avoidable, whatever it was. And apparently, Wilma just moved there and was enjoying a walk with her dog at her new condominium near the shoreline in Alameda. So we're gonna, it's going to be a public service for Wilma, I believe, on December the 8th. The board of supervisors, we had remarks from the public and the board on Tuesday at our board meeting. At a Metropolitan Transportation Commission meeting yesterday, we adjourned the meeting in honor of Wilma. At the all-in meeting yesterday, we had similar reflections like we're having today. So there's been, just this outpouring of both love for Wilma and the need to express our reflections about her. Because I think having her pass away suddenly like this is just hitting all of us in a way that we hadn't anticipated. And once again, just shows life is, how dear life is. You can never take anything for granted. And I'll be the first to say, and I think some of the commissioners here know, Wilma might have been the alternate, but she was not focused on LAFCO matters. I think the only time Wilma got focused on LAFCO matter was when we were trying to dissolve Eden Healthcare District. And then Wilma got really engaged in that because she wanted us to dissolve that district. And, after we did the analysis and the studies and et cetera, we ultimately decided we weren't going to dissolve it. I don't think Wilma liked that, but that was the thing about Wilma. You could disagree with her, but she wouldn't hold a grudge. Hey, she lost that battle. Let's move on to the next thing. And I appreciated that in Wilma as a person and a colleague. She came prepared with her position. She fought hard for her position. She was prepared for, get her arm around her positions. But if she lost, she's not going to, hold a grudge and hold that against you and make you an enemy. So we're going to miss Wilma Chan. And like I said, my heart goes out to her family and her staff and those close to her. And as I said, I think I really want her to rest in power and rest in peace. So thanks, Splend, for giving me the chance to start this today.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Nate. Commissioner Halbert, do you have any thoughts?
Well, thank you, Splend. And Nate, what a great few words you shared. You just hit a home run. I don't know that I could add any more than that, other than to say that while I served with Wilma for a much shorter period of time, that she left an indelible mark on me, a profound influence. I echo all of the points you made about how we relied upon her for her talents, how we will certainly miss her and not even be able to replace her. She's irreplaceable with the 40 years of experience that she had. I can still see her face and words coming out of her mouth advising us in closed session. And I can almost hear the words, what would Wilma say? What would she do? And even just the short period of time that we served together. The other thing I would remember Wilma for, and that I would add, is that she was also had a great capacity to listen and understand where you were coming from, and if it was a different perspective than she had, she would take that in, and if she could find a way to make everything work the way she and you wanted to do it, she would find a way to do that. So call that compromise, call that collaborate, whatever. She always kept an open mind and would find that common ground, and just had a talent for that, which I think was simply honed over her 40 years of experience. Again, something that will be difficult, impossible to replace, really. So we are all feeling it. I would like to thank everybody on this commission who reached out to express condolences. And as Supervisor Miley mentioned, we've received from all corners of everywhere condolences. I thank you all for that, and her family thanks you as well. And indeed, our hearts and prayers are with her family. And then the last thing I'll add is, while the family had a private service for themselves, that there will be a more public service for the public to remember Wilma Chan. And that is on, if I remember correctly, that's going to be December 8th at 2 p.m. at the Oakland Museum. And then in addition, the last thing I'll add is that the county has established a Wilma Chan Memorial Fund, and there will be an opportunity to contribute to that fund, which would go to support things that Wilma would have liked to do. I don't know exactly what those are, but rest assured it will be something to memorialize Wilma with, and we established a fund through the county. We voted on that the other day, so that is in the process of being established. So consider that in your year-end giving or in your memorial giving, if you would, on behalf of and in memory of Supervisor Chan. So thank you again for allowing this part in the meeting. We've done this a few times now, so I'll just be done with it now, because every time it gets a little harder to do. So anyway, thank you all again for listening.
Thank you, Dave. And of course, rightfully, Nate and Dave should have obviously the closest relationship, but please, if there are any other commissioners that would like, say anything about Wilma, please do so at this time.
This is Commissioner Johnson. I'd like to say a few words.
Please.
So I've read in the newspaper articles that she was taken to Highland Hospital. And I know that Wilma was a champion of the county hospital system. And I know that she probably received the best care possible. I know that from personal experience. About 15 years ago, my wife and I got one of those calls at 2 o'clock in the morning that our daughter Karen, who's the baker, was in an auto accident and it was at Highland. And they wouldn't tell us much other than we better get down there. So it was probably one of the longest drives we've ever taken, wondering what was really wrong. Turned out she was, okay, but we were really impressed with the service and the care that she got at Highland. Probably the best in the world. So my appreciation to Wilma, and actually the other board members too, for making sure that the Alameda County hospital system is probably one of the best in the country. Thanks to Wilma. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Ralph. Anne, please.
This is going to be very brief, and it's going back to Supervisor Miley and the health district. But I can tell you, you came away from that meeting knowing her passion for healthcare, for the staff that worked at the hospital and everything else. And I think we all understood that and appreciated her passion, but we did see value finally in the health district continuing because they had things to do. But there is no question in my mind that she was absolutely a champion when it came to healthcare.
All right. Thank you. Okay, yes, Commissioner Hernandez.
And I will also keep it brief, and I was honored to be able to meet Wilma a few years ago, and just her heart as a woman to be on that board of not just fighting for health, but for fighting for affordable housing, to push forward Measure A1, so the cities would be able to get funding, and then also a leader that would put others and put priorities in advancing others to just have a better life overall and helping the most vulnerable populations. And honestly, she was just such a great leader for so many years. And I was just honored to be able to see her, in my other hat of working for Supervisor Halbert down the hallway, and her, coming up to me and asking me, hey, what are you guys doing over there in the Tri-Valley with regards to behavioral health and helping your residents, and just to be able to have that conversation with her. But she was a very, I always like to say, a very intelligent woman and always caring for so many others. So she will be greatly missed.
Thank you. Thank you, Melissa. Okay, well, thank you, everyone. Thank you for all those wonderful thoughts. So unfortunately, we're going to move on with the agenda here. So next item is public comment. Anyone from the audience may address the commission on any matter not listed on the agenda, but within the jurisdiction of Alameda LAFCo. The commission cannot act upon matters not appearing on the agenda. April, are there any public speakers?
There are no public speakers.
Thank you very much. We'll close that item. Next, we have a priority item, and that is an approval of a resolution to continue virtual meetings due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Rachel, do we need any presentation on this?
I'll just provide a short little brief remark, and that is this item is for Alameda LAFCo to consider actions necessary so we can proceed with virtual meetings in accordance with Assembly Bill 361. We have an attached resolution that has been prepared accordingly and makes the necessary findings authorizing LAFCo to conduct virtual meetings of the commission for the next 30 days, and staff recommends approval, and I will return the item to the chair for consideration.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions, or can I entertain a motion?
So move.
As Commissioner Wieskamp moves, and can we have a second?
Hernandez. will
Second.
second.
Okay, Commissioner Hernandez, thank you very much. Roll call vote, please.
Oh,
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Nate. Sorry.
Chair, just want to ask a question. This resolution is only good for 30 days. We don't meet, we won't meet again. And so what's going to happen? Do we need to have a longer, do we have to have a special meeting? Because I know with some jurisdictions, we've actually had to do that. Have you given any consideration, Rachel, or council?
Yes, so based on our council's advice, and Andrew Massey is here today, we will have to approve or review a resolution before every meeting in lieu of having a special meeting.
The statute that AB 361 doesn't really contemplate bodies like Alameda LAFCo that meet less frequently than every 30 days, and so or more. So, but looking at it, it appears to permit adopting a resolution each time that the body meets, and so that is the recommendation. So if the commission wanted to meet again in less than 30 days, another resolution would not have to be adopted. But to meet on the regular meeting schedule again in January, another resolution could be adopted in January to do that.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, if there are no further comments, could we have a roll call vote?
Yes. Chair Splendorio,
Yes.
Commissioner Miley,
Yes.
Commissioner Hobart,
Yes.
Commissioner Hernandez,
Yes.
Commissioner Warner,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Wieskamp.
Yes.
Let the record reflect, the motion passes.
Thank you very much. Let's move on to the consent agenda. Are there any items that any commissioner would like to pull from the consent agenda? I don't see anything. I only have one comment. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I just moved approval, that's all.
Oh, if David, you let me make one correction. I think Abreu is misspelled. Kelly Abreu, I believe his name is spelled
It is
A-B.
misspelled.
Okay, so you caught that.
Yes, I circled it.
All right, thank you, Ann. So it's A-B-R-E-U, I believe, and
There may be an A in there, A-B-R.
maybe an A, but if someone could maybe look up the proper spelling and correct the minutes, I'd appreciate, I think we'd all appreciate it. So with that, we have a motion by Commissioner Halbert to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
Commissioner Wieskamp. Okay. If there's nothing further, roll call vote, please. April, you muted.
Yes.
Apologies. Chair Splendorio,
Yes.
Commissioner Miley.
Aye.
Commissioner Hobart,
Yes.
Commissioner Hernandez,
Yes.
Commissioner Warner,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Wieskamp.
Yes.
Let the record reflect, the motion passes.
Thank you very much. Move on to item number 6, which is the proposed annexation of Greenville Plaza and North Front Road to the city of Livermore. Rachel, can we have a report?
Absolutely. Thank you, Chair. So Alameda LAFCo received a proposal through a resolution of application from the city of Livermore requesting annexation approval involving one unincorporated parcel and one public right-of-way totaling 6.89 acres, and that are contiguous to the city's jurisdictional boundary and within the city's sphere of influence. The affected territory is bounded to the south by Interstate Highway 580 and to the north by North Front Road. As submitted, the affected territory consists of vacant land currently zoned as heavy industrial by the County of Alameda, and the territory has been pre-zoned by the City of Livermore as highway commercial service, and its proposed use is consistent with the city's general plan. Hold on just a second. So approval of the annexation will support the development of a commercial retail plaza containing the following improvements. And that is a 4,430 square foot convenience store, a 2,800 square foot car wash, and a 12-stall fuel station. The affected territory lies within the city's sphere of influence and urban growth boundary, as well as adjacent to an established commercial district. Staff deems that the timing of the proposed change of organization appears appropriate and is highlighted by the analysis of factors required for consideration under LAFCO law that can be found in Appendix A of the accompanying staff report. Staff has not found any potential boundary amendments to the proposal that merit commission consideration at this time. The city serves as the lead agency for assessing potential impacts of the proposal under CEQA, and staff independently concurs with the city that it has made the appropriate determinations in its initial study and mitigated negative declaration. So this item is for the commission to consider approving with or without modifications the applicant's submitted change of organization proposal to annex the affected territory to the city of Livermore. The commission may consider applying conditions to an approval so as long as it does not regulate land use, property development, or any subdivision requirements. So staff recommends the commission adopt the draft resolution as identified in attachment A of the accompanying staff report. And I will return the item to the chair for commission discussion and to open the public hearing.
Okay, thank you. Before I open the public hearing, are there any questions on the staff report? And are we anticipating a presentation by the city of Livermore?
We do have members from the city in the audience. They would be happy to answer any questions right now.
Great. Okay, again, are any questions at this point? No, okay, I'd like to open the public meeting. Do we have any speakers, April?
We do not.
Okay, then I will close the public meeting and I ask again, any comments or any questions by any commissioner at this point? And if not, if someone would like to make a motion.
I'll make the motion to approve.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Warner, and is there a second?
Halbert seconds.
All right, I think Dave beat you, so we'll go with Commissioner Halbert as a second. And could we please have a roll call vote?
Excuse me, Chair, we have one question from Commissioner.
Oh, sorry. Did I miss John?
That's okay. So I worked on this with the city of Hayward, or city of Livermore years ago, and it's been a long time in the process. And I see that Ali Amidi is on the meeting today, and I just wanted to say congratulations that we've gotten to LAFCO, and wish him all the best on this project.
Yes, I echo. I saw some of the dates on, and I feel for you.
It was 20 years ago.
Yeah, I feel for you.
But I just it's been a long road, and as we go for the vote here at LAFCO, I'd like to just congratulate Mr. Amidi and wish him all the best.
Thank you. All right. So April, I think we can, if there are no further comments, we can go with the roll call vote.
Chair Splendorio,
Yes.
Commissioner Miley.
Aye.
Commissioner Halbert,
Aye.
Commissioner Hernandez,
Yes.
Commissioner Warner,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Wieskamp.
Yes.
Let the record reflect, the motion passes.
Thank you very much. Let's move on to agenda item number 7, approval of the proposed fiscal reserve policy.
Thank you.
Rachel?
Thank you, Chair. So this item is for Alameda LAFCO to consider approving a proposed fiscal reserve policy that sets to maintain an appropriate operational reserve level and establishes a protocol for crediting excess unassigned funds. The proposed policy adds discretionary standards and is marked by establishing a minimum reserve level of unassigned reserves equal to 4 months of the budgeted expenses or a third of LAFCO's annual operating budget. The proposed policy returns to the commission in its initial draft form from Alameda LAFCO's last regular meeting. Staff recommends approval of the proposed policy with any desired revisions. Staff will return the item to the chair for any questions, comments, or discussion.
All right. First of all, are there any comments or questions? I do have one, Rachel. If you could identify who worked on this effort here, I think we should be, they should be recognized.
Absolutely, Chair. So staff wants to give special thanks to our Policy and Budget Committee and the commissioners who are on that committee are Commissioner Von Heater Leopold, Commissioner Johnson, and a special thanks to Commissioner Warner for his staff to take a look at our fund balance, to look at a 5-year period of LAFCO's fund balance and reserves.
Well, yeah, and thank you very much, Georgine and Ralph and Bob, especially. Thank you very much for all your effort in getting us to this place. Thank you very much.
Well,
Okay.
I'd like to just say that thank you to Rachel for bringing it to our attention that we needed to do something, and that what we came up with makes good sense and consistent with the way other organizations do their policies. So I think we're on a good path here.
Thank you. Is this something subject to a public comment?
Yes, Chair.
Okay, let me open the public hearing. April,
No public hearing required, but just to ask comments from the public.
Okay, all right. So then are there any comments from the public, April?
There are no public comments.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, so the next step would be to entertain a motion.
Also move.
Thank you, Commissioner Warner.
Commissioner Johnson, I'll second that.
Thank you very much. Roll call vote, please.
Chair Splendorio,
Yes.
Commissioner Miley,
Aye.
Commissioner Hobart,
Aye.
Commissioner Hernandez,
Yes.
Commissioner Warner,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Wieskamp.
Yes.
Let the record reflect the motion passes.
Thank you very much. Let's move on to agenda item 8. Final report and sphere of influence updates, countywide municipal service review on water, wastewater, stormwater, and flood control services.
Thank you, Chair. So here we are. We finally have a final report. So this item is for Alameda LAFCo to complete its scheduled municipal service review on its countywide water, wastewater, flood control, and stormwater services. This includes accepting the final report prepared by Quadnoff Associates and highlighted by an executive summary outlining determinations and recommendations. This also includes adopting a resolution accepting the final report of the municipal service review and all determinations required for the commission under statute. So a public review of the draft report, which included determinations, was presented to the commission for discussion and feedback and made available to the public at Alameda LAFCo's regular meeting held on July 8th of this year. The commission provided thorough feedback and edits to incorporate in the final report, and the draft was distributed to all of the affected agencies, and a 30 public day review and comment period followed. Notice was also published in local newspapers and posted on the LAFCo website. LAFCo received 12 comment letters from the affected agencies, and the consultant, Quadnoff Associates, has incorporated all of these comments and edits into the final report. Both MSR consultants and LAFCO staff recommend retaining the existing spheres for all of the special districts of the affected agencies, and staff recommends the commission formally accept the final report with distribution to all of the affected agencies, as well as adopt a resolution codifying the associated determinations and recommendations. Staff will also do one final sweep and edit of the MSR and print out some copies that we can give to the commissioners and the public. A presentation of this final report will be provided by Principal Planner Steve Brandt of Quadnoff Associates, and he is in the audience today, and I will promote him to a panelist. Steve, are you ready?
Here I am. Can you hear me?
Yes, thank you, Steve.
Okay. Hi, good afternoon. Thank you, Rachel. Steve Brandt with QK, and I wanted to just give some thoughts. Obviously the final MSR is a large document. It covers quite a few topics related to the water, wastewater, flood control, and storm drain services that are provided in Alameda County. But I wanted to give I was thinking about this, I want to give some overall big picture thoughts because I think it's really important as a takeaway from this MSR. I think the first thing I think that's important is just the fact that the way that LAFCO set this up to begin with is to have a single MSR that comprehensively analyzes not just one system, but all of the systems related to water, and whether it's starting with water, going to wastewater, dealing with flood control and storm drainage. So it's a comprehensive look at everything in the entire county. Not that many LAFCOs would have taken it on this way, but I think it's a telling sign of some other things that we noticed as we were learning about these districts and we were preparing this MSR. You have a very complex system of infrastructure, and they don't all work on their own. They're interconnected. There's a lot of coordination that is needed because of the interconnectedness of the infrastructure. And the thing that we really noticed was as we, looked at the documents, especially looked at the agency's websites, is there's really a culture of cooperation in Alameda County with these agencies. They know what their responsibilities are, and they also know what the other agencies are doing as well, and they're working together at it. So I think that's a big takeaway. I think that's a strength for Alameda County that you should be, you shouldn't take that lightly because it doesn't happen everywhere. In looking at things, we have some specific recommendations for some agencies to take actions on, that we would suggest that they do. However, generally speaking, the agencies are doing a fine job in providing the services that they're responsible for. They're handling the violations. They have reserve funds in place. They have contingencies for water, and related to climate change, they've adopted climate action plans. They have policies in their urban water management plan. They're being responsible with the tasks that they've been given to provide efficient services. We all know what the challenges are. There's growth as a challenge. I've seen your RENA numbers. They're quite high. So we know that growth is going to be a challenge. Climate change is a challenge, but it seems that the agencies are prepared for it, and they're ready to take it on. So I think the main recommendation that we had, and in talking with Rachel about this, of creating this county-wide regional water and wastewater committee, I want to emphasize, I wouldn't see that as an oversight committee. I think I see that as a facilitation committee, because like I said, the agencies have a lot of strengths, and one of your strengths is that you coordinate and cooperate, and having a committee like this could just expand that strength and really take it to the next level. One of the other things I think a committee like that could do is it could present that strength to the public. a lot of the cities and the agencies have very good websites that explain to the public what they do and how they do it. But there isn't a place where someone can go to see the big picture and see how everyone's working together. And that might be a goal for a committee like this, to be that umbrella that shows the public, you know, here's what we're doing, and here's how we're doing it, and here's how we're working together to provide these services. So that I think was the thing I really wanted to leave you with, is just a positive report that that things are going well. There's challenges, there's going to be issues here and there, but you're set up for future success. So that was really what I wanted to say in the presentation.
Thank you very much. I think there was a song that said, "The future's so bright, we need to wear shades," right?
Yes.
Okay, that's your summary. Okay. Any comments or questions from the commissioners?
We have one from Commissioner Von Heater Leopold.
Okay, please, Georgine.
Hi, everyone. I want to make sure that indeed all of those changes in all of those notices from the various cities are going to be included, because some of them were very significant. They're going to be included in your final report, correct?
Yes, so
Yes.
all the comments and edits have been included in the final report.
Okay, not the one we got. Second, on page 113, you refer to DSRSD East Bay Mud Regional Water Authority. As one of the founding members, it's Recycled Water Authority. Got that?
Okay.
Okay, and the other thing is we being LAFCo, caused quite a firestorm. Every single general manager and of water agencies, of wastewater agencies were on the phone having a fit over your recommendation regarding this committee. You know, the Tri-Valley's been working together for 20 years, and all we've managed to do is come up with 6 alternatives for water supply. So telling them all to get together and form a committee is sort of redundant. I think your recent comment about putting everything in one place and showing what each of the agencies is doing and where they are collaborating is a better idea, rather than giving this new committee the charge to create a master plan. They're all going to go, they all have gone nuts. I mean, I heard from my GM last night. So I really think it's critical to change that recommendation to something that refers to what you just said. And that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments by commissioners? Okay, let me open the public hearing. April, do we have any public comment?
We do have one.
Okay, please.
Carol, you have 3 minutes.
Thank you. Thank you for your interest and attention to water-related issues in Alameda County. Zone 7 Water Agency, who I'm a part of, imports 70% of the wholesale water supplies for the Tri-Valley from the Delta, and participates in many Bay Area-wide partnerships to explore water use efficiency, resiliency, and long-term reliability. With respect to the recommendation to establish a countywide regional water and wastewater committee, Zone 7 requests that the committee act in a support role for the many efforts that are already underway across the Bay Area. We want to highlight a few of the regional collaborations that are already taking place among the water and wastewater agencies in and around Alameda County. 4 of the 8 agencies that participate in the Bay Area Regional Reliability Partnership, also known as BAR, were either a part of this municipal service review or provide interrelated services, including ACWD, East Bay Mud, San Francisco PUC, and Zone 7. BAR focuses on water supply reliability and resiliency and has developed a regional drought contingency plan that includes such mitigation measures as exploration of potable reuse, regional desalination, and the expansion of the Los Vaqueros Reservoir and associated facilities to provide greater flexibility in addressing water supply, conveyance, storage, and drought resiliency for the region. Locally, Zone 7 and our Tri-Valley partners are currently undertaking various studies to understand the potential benefits and impacts of a potable reuse project. BAR also developed a shared water access program, also known as SWAP. One of the objectives of SWAP is to define the process for how Bay Area water agencies could secure and exchange or transfer water supplies among the partners. Other collaborative forums also exist where water matters identified in the MSR are discussed already. Two examples are the Tri-Valley Liaison Committee, local to Zone 7 area, and the Bay Area Water Agencies Coalition, which is Bay Area wide. In addition to these collaborative forums, there are a number of successful water recycling programs in the Bay Area that are in operation today. And there are a number of new projects already under consideration, such as the Tri-Valley's potable reuse study. We request that the regional committee proposed by LAFCO focus on supporting these existing regional efforts so as to not result in duplicative efforts and divert staff time from projects already underway. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you very much, Carol, for your comments. April, do we have any other public comment?
We do not, Chair.
Thank you. Then I'll close the public hearing. Any further questions or comments from the commissioners? And entertain a motion.
Excuse me, Chair, we have one question or comment from Commissioner Marchand.
Oh, sorry, John.
That's okay.
John, can I just tell you something? Your hand is blending in to your background.
Okay. All right.
Sorry about that.
I'll change it up a little bit. Okay. Thank you very much. Some of you may recall that I commented extensively on this when it came before LAFCO back in July, and I'm happy to say that most of the comments that I made were already included in the report. One that was not. It's page 419 or 255 of the packet. It says that groundwater is pumped by Zone 7 from the State Water Project that has been and is used to recharge the groundwater basin. Groundwater does not go into the State Water Project. That's surface water. And yes, it is recharged into the groundwater basin, but it's not groundwater that's pumped by Zone 7. It's surface water. So that's the correction on that. Again, that was 419 of the report. Also, table 5-4 on page 310 talks about the treatment plants that were built in Livermore in 1958 and Hayward in 1952. But there's no mention of any upgrades. They talk about the upgrades that were made to the Oraloma plant, but there have been significant upgrades. And somebody looking at the report might think that the city of Livermore is operating a plant that's over 40 years old and antiquated, but that's not the case. Just a minor point there. And on page 4-58, table 418, says the voter turnout in Livermore was 73%. The voter turnout was 84.6. So just to show we are that good. I see that Livermore didn't comment on the report, so I feel compelled to step up and make my comments. So thank you. That's all I've got.
Thank you very much, John. Appreciate it. I'm looking here, see if I see any of the commissioners hands up. No.
Yeah, my hand's up.
Oh, darn. Sorry, Nate.
That's okay. I don't know if you would, because I can't see what you see either.
Okay.
The presentation is still up on the screen. So, but I just wanted to ask about the resolution. So resolution, first of all, what's the meaning then of 2A in the resolution? I just need to get clarity on that one to begin with.
So
It talks about creating the countywide regional water and Wastewater Committee.
So this was a recommendation provided at our public meeting. It was suggested that, we add this recommendation where we could have a countywide regional water and wastewater committee where LAFCO could be the facilitator to just have agencies talk amongst each other on finding maybe possible solutions or possible options on what's going on with recycled water and also possibly a desalination plant. It's just to have open discussion. There will be no directives from this committee. It's just so that everyone's on board and up to date with information currently going on in the state. And it is for the agencies to figure out meetings, to figure out, how often, what's the benefit of this, but just to have something where everyone can talk with each other.
Everyone gets together. And you said LAFCO will convene this, so you would person?
Yes, so LAFCO would be happy to get the discussion going and to facilitate this, whether it being providing public meeting space, hosting it through Zoom, whatever the agency's preference, but just to get some dialogue going.
I see. And then will there be any budgetary implications associated with this?
That is a good question. While we would have for this resolution to be accepted, staff will also return to the commission at our March meeting with a work plan to see, if we do need to provide some budgetary funds to help get this meeting going, whether we do need to rely maybe on some outside consultants to provide extra information or insight. That's to be determined right now, but it's definitely up for consideration.
Okay. I've got a couple other questions about a couple of these others, but let me just stick with this one for a moment. So are the entities, they aren't required to participate, are they, or are they?
They're
get together and talk, but do they have to participate?
They are not required or have to participate.
Okay, all right. So if you find, we're talking about the 14 cities and the 10 special districts.
That is correct.
So what if we find out that only 5 are participating? Would you then come back and tell us this isn't a useful tool, or would you come back and say we need to step it up and make it mandatory? I'm just asking a question at the moment.
It would be an open discussion. Whoever wants to participate, that would be great. Maybe they fall off at one meeting and a whole bunch attend the next meeting. I think that's up to LAFCO to make sure that, it's taken seriously and we provide benefit to the region on, why all these agencies should be involved. But we could go to the commission, but I wouldn't say to make it mandatory at this time or in the future.
I think I read in the staff report that with this municipal service review, you will be coming back again at some point in the future to give us an update.
Correct.
Yeah, so maybe that whatever happens with this body, I'm assuming would be probably part of that update. Okay, then with the number 2, the city of Oakland should create a sewer master plan and provide a report to LAFCO. So they are required to do this, right?
This would also, yes. This should be something in LAFCO's work plan. Currently, the city of Oakland doesn't have a sewer master plan, so LAFCO would send a follow-up notice to the city to let them know that, LAFCO says that you should start working on this and creating this, and once it's done, to provide a report to LAFCO.
Okay. Because I know that's something that's definitely needed. Oakland's got a lot of aging infrastructure. Okay, let's see here. And I think that's, other than that, I think with the resolution, all the other items on the resolution, once again, would have, once we do pass the resolution, these entities would have to fulfill what's being requested here. Right?
That is correct. I will say though, I will follow up with the commission at our March meeting to just make sure that all these requirements that the commission would like LAFCO to follow up and send them to all the affected agencies included in this in our work plan.
Okay, those are all my questions. Thanks.
Thank you, Commissioner.
I see Georgine has her hand up, and then after that is Commissioner Johnson after Commissioner Von Heaterpole.
I think what's sticking in all of the water and wastewater agency sides are create a master plan. If that were not required, but instead create, I don't know, a conglomeration of all the reports, I don't know what you want to call it, but not a master plan. They're all flipping over those words.
I can see how that word can cause some caution. So I will suggest
consternation.
Yes. So I suggest to strike out master plan for the resolution, just so that all the affected agencies know that that isn't really what we're looking for and it's not a requirement.
Okay, great. That would solve our problem. And I'm just speaking on behalf of the water and wastewater agencies that found my general manager and pounded on him after he pounded on you, I hear.
Not too badly, but thank you. Thank you, Commissioner.
All right, next is Ralph.
So I would agree with Georgine on the master plan. That's probably a little too strong. But I think the whole idea here is that I think what we've heard from some of the comments today is like all the water agencies really work well together. And so do the wastewater agencies. In Alameda County, we have one flood control agency that covers most of the county. We also have the stormwater services that cover the entire county. And I think what the point of the committee would be is not just that water and wastewater people work together, but all four work together to deal with common issues that come up. One issue that I think of it right now is recycled water, but we have climate change. There's a variety of things that having a common discussion about some of these common issues that go across each one of these four different areas would be helpful. And that I think would be probably good just to sort of say, let them decide on what they want to do, whether they want to do a master plan or they want to just do like a strategic plan or something that would sort of work together to solve some of these common problems. That's my comment. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ralph. Okay. Anybody else?
Yeah, Chair, back, it's Nate Miley
Yep,
again.
sure.
Yeah, because I think Ralph kind of hit on something I was going to ask about. So if we strike a master plan out of the resolution, what's causing me some is, will we be able to get all of the 14 cities and 10 special districts to come together and have conversations at the table around collective sort of thinking on what needs to be done? Will that happen? Because like I said, suppose we say, okay, we passed a resolution, but only 5 participate. That doesn't get us anywhere, right?
I completely understand your line of thinking, Commissioner. I would say that hopefully just by having something available and open, that would pique the interest of some of these agencies just to get together. LAFCO can make it fun, make it light. We could provide food, we could provide treats, that's always a good way to get them together in a room. But I would say that above everything, I think having maybe a consultant available to provide kind of information on what some of these other affected or other agencies within the state are doing, maybe with desalination or recycled water, to provide some benefit, like a presentation to this committee, just to see what's out there, that might get more people in the room.
Okay.
I would recommend, if you're going to do that, that you don't hire a paid consultant, that you contact ACWA, Association of California Water Agencies, or CASA, California Association of Sanitation Agencies. Both of those organizations know probably about 99% of what's going on throughout the state with their members, and we all pay significant dues. So I would request that we make use of that.
Thank you, Commissioner.
I was going to say, I think once again, I'm willing to see how this works out by striking to create a master plan, striking that out of the resolution and see how things work out. But I just really want to just go on record. If we don't get the level of participation we need through whatever mechanism is pursued, and I just think it's important for LAFCO to understand that and then make determinations what we want to do next.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Nate. And John has his hand up.
Two of them. So, I think maybe, again, I agree with Supervisor Miley, perhaps striking master plan, but instead it's something not quite as onerous, something like to explore opportunities for cooperation and share best practices. I think that the need for Oakland to have a sewer master plan is evident. They've got $52 million in reserves and $650 million in expected expenses. So they've got 8% reserves. So there's a big juggernaut coming down on them. So the opportunity to share best practices and see opportunities for cooperation. We've already done that here in the Tri-Valley. I think that we serve really as a great example. But something that's not quite as onerous, and show them the opportunities to share best practices and for cooperation.
Okay, thank you, John. All right, do we have any other comments, questions by commissioners? Commissioner Wieskamp.
I think, one thing about what we're doing right now, getting together in many different places, gathered here in front of our wonderful computers, it's a great chance, it's an easy time for people to get together without having to travel miles and give hours to it. And if you say it's going to be a positive experience, exploring opportunities, not mandated. I don't know if anybody else has read about it, but I know there's been a proposal by some professors dealing with the aqueduct to cover it with solar, and the benefits are triple at least, and that is electricity, protecting the water from evaporating. They said in the study 85%. It's helping move water through, and you don't have all of those lovely water lilies growing. Things like that are positive you can think about, that are interesting. It's kind of like giving people a chance to explore some without making commitments. I think that's what we're all talking about doing here. Just getting together, exchanging ideas, and see what you can do mutually. That's my way of looking at it. Learn something, but don't beat on each other.
Well, we were recognized by Cal LAFCo for this exact thing. We came together as the Tri-Valley agencies and found ways to cooperate, right, and reduce expenses and efforts for our residents. So we've already been recognized for doing that. So I think that something on a larger scale could really be beneficial.
Sure. Cooperation, what a concept, right?
Thank you, commissioners.
Anything else?
So Chair Splendoria.
Yes.
You need to understand when it comes to the resolution, as John offered some wording, Rachel offered some wording for the resolution. So what will be the wording we're going to be voting on?
well,
So I wrote something down and I think we'll strike out, create a master plan and change that to share best practices and opportunities on how the region should recycle water or better utilize water that is already imported.
Explore opportunities and share best practices.
Okay.
Explore opportunities.
is that acceptable, Nate?
Oh, definitely, definitely. I always defer to Commissioner Michon. When it comes to water, just when it comes to water.
Okay, so can someone frame, if there isn't any further discussion, frame that in a motion with a, on the resolution to change the verbiage? Maybe we can rely upon Rachel to read what is to be changed in the resolution. And perhaps that could be adopted as a motion. Does that make sense? Oh, Georgine, got your hand up. Go ahead. You're muted, Georgine. You're still muted. There you go.
No, I was just agreeing. I didn't have my hand up. I think that's great.
Okay, great. Okay, so Rachel, does that make sense? You want to read? How about, don't read any things that's not to change, just whatever is going to be changed in the resolution.
Okay. So I will say to explore opportunities and to share best practices for collaboration.
Yeah. How about, and also on how the region can recycle water for the rest of that.
Okay, absolutely. So I'm striking out should and changing that to can.
Okay, is that acceptable to
Everybody.
everybody? If it is, somebody make a motion.
Hernandez will go ahead and make a motion with the changes that were just put forward by the commission.
I'll
Thank you
second.
Thank you very much. Anything further? No. So let's take a roll call vote, April.
Chair Splendorio,
Aye.
Commissioner Miley,
Aye.
Commissioner Halbert,
I think Dave left.
Commissioner Hernandez,
Aye.
Commissioner Warner,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Wieskamp.
Yes.
Let the record reflect the motion passes.
Thank you very much. And thank you for all the wonderful dialogue and discussion. Thank you. All right, item number 9. Are there any matters initiated by any member of the commission? Seeing none, we will move on to item 10, the Executive Officer Informational Report. Rachel.
So we just have a quick update on South Livermore Valley area, LAFCO South Livermore Valley area specific plan. So with the Measure D analysis now nearly complete, Lanphier Gregory has moved on to more fully engage with the second assignment as related to the South Livermore Valley area specific plan and looking at some of the issues. So the efforts to date have included gathering data related to prior residential housing growth and commensurate with agricultural land preservation within the boundaries of these respective planning areas, assessing relative effectiveness of these plans in achieving their desired outcomes. Also quantifying the remaining residential development potential and remaining agricultural lands preservation yet to be realized pursuant to those plans. Also getting better educated about general concerns over nitrate pollution of South Livermore Valley's groundwater from winery wastewater processes and potential increased sedimentation from vineyard runoff, and reviewing and understanding the implications associated with fairly recent January 2021 State Water Board's general waste discharge requirements for winery processed water and other similar facilities. The winery order is applicable statewide and is intended to streamline and improve permitting consistency, but also addresses new discharge standards applicable to viticultural operations. And so that's one update. And then the following update for LAFCO's review of Measure D, following the September 9th presentation to Alameda LAFCO of preliminary findings related to Measure D, staff made the PowerPoint slides and preliminary report available to a number of identified stakeholders, providing them with 30 days within which to provide comments on the materials. Staff received and forwarded to Lanford Gregory 3 written comments on the draft report, and they are from the Alameda Community Development Agency, from Dick Schneider representing the Sierra Club, and from Mr. Larry Goslin and Mr. Chuck Moore representing the equine industry's interests. In response to these comments, as well as comments received during the LAFCO presentation, Lanford Gregory has initiated several changes and additions to the draft report, specifically to address the following topics: providing a comparison of pre and post Measure D changes in agricultural soils as reported by the Department of Conservation's Farmland Mapping and Monitoring Program, FMMP, conducting spot check validation of FMMP's reported acreage in agricultural soils in East County, with additional effort to explain why some FMMP's reported agricultural lands in East County may have changed designations, from example, from prime ag to grazing, and whether these changes had anything to do with Measure D. Also casting a wider net to provide more comparisons of ag zoning regulations pertaining to non-residential FAR, floor area ratio, and building envelopes, including comparisons to the additional counties of Mendocino, Marin, San Luis Obispo, and Monterey. Also looking into providing a more comprehensive comparison of permitted development potential on ag lands using the FAR regulations of Alameda County as compared to similar FAR regulations of those other counties that do have such regulations, and showing a relative sliding scale of development potential based on varying parcel sizes, and adding additional information on the equestrian-based industry in Alameda County. And lastly, adding a comparative analysis of regulations from other Bay Area counties related to equestrian-based land uses. And this is like horse grazing and breeding, boarding stables, training facilities, and equestrian event facilities. Lanford Gregory noted that I believe we'll have draft reports on both of these reviews and studies at our January meeting.
Thank you very much, Rachel. Any questions, comments at this point? Rachel, if I can tell you one thing, I also sit on the Tri-Valley Conservancy Board, and they commissioned a study through UC Davis to study the wine industry in Livermore Valley, and I've been told that I am going to be authorized to release a draft of that, or close to final draft, to LAFCO for Lanford Gregory's consideration. And as soon as I'm told, I will forward that on to you.
Thank you, Chair.
All right, anything else on that item? Okay, don't see any hands up. Let's move on. Informational items. Rachel, anything to discuss there?
Just a quick overview. So we don't really have any new pending proposals at the moment. For progress report, staff did approve of a small contract of $5,000 with Chase Designs to redo our LAFCO logo. So hopefully we will get started on work with Chase Design within the next 2 weeks, and we'll have a new logo for you probably at our January meeting. And then for the Cal LAFCO update, I would just want to give congratulations to all of the newly elected and re-elected Cal LAFCO board members for the 2021-2022 fiscal year. Cal LAFCO thanks all of the voting delegates, and special thank you to Commissioner Von Heater Leopold for your participation at Cal LAFCO's annual business meeting. The following candidates have been elected to the Cal LAFCO Board of Directors. We have Central Region City Member Daniel Pata from Fresno. Public member is Anita Packway from Calaveras. Coastal Region City Member is Margie Moeller from Napa. And public member is Shane Stark from Santa Barbara. The Northern Region County Member is Bill Connolly from Butte. And the district member is Deborah Lake from Humboldt. And Southern Region County Member is Michael Kelly from Imperial. And district member is Joe McKenzie from San Diego. And lastly, Cal LAFCO has announced that the 2022 staff workshop will be held from March 23rd to the 25th in Newport Beach. And that is all.
Great. Okay, if there's nothing, no other business before the commission, I'd like to adjourn it to our next regular meeting on January 13th. And, but that is going to be in 2022.
Oh, excuse me.
Yes.
2022, yes.
You think you wanted me to go back a year, go to 2021?
No, I'm okay
There we
moving
go.
forward.
Who wants to relive this year? Anybody? Good. All right, but we're adjourned. Thank you very much for everybody's participation and cooperation. Thank you. Take care and have a great Thanksgiving.
Have a
Happy
good
holidays,
Thanksgiving.
everybody.
Thank
Yes,
you, Chair.
be
Thank you,
safe, stay well,
Commissioners.
okay.
All right, take care, everybody.
Thanks, Rachel and April.
Thank you.